She'll be wearing pink pajamas. She'll be wearing pink pajamas when she comes.
What the hell was that, Eric? What was that?
Alec's been having some hard times lately.
You're saying that he might be a hobo or something, or
yeah, there's that possibility here. Automatically adjust. It came in a little hot. Yeah, I just thought, a little bit of solidarity to our friend who apparently is being mistaken as a hobo.
Is that true?
Yes, quite literally.
Oh, I was wondering.
The residents.
Oh my God. Oh Lord, look at that.
And what is up with his nose, dude?
What happened to his nose?
You see that down underneath? It's like, I don't know if he's got persistent bloody nose or what's going on there, but in his latest Instagram videos and whatnot, he's had that.
I don't know what's going on with his eyes, his nose, or anything. It's easily fixable for a man of his means. I don't understand why he goes out like that.
Yeah. sexy dude. But yeah,
he just looks beaten up all the time. You know what I mean? I wonder, and I know this, I've heard about this before. It could be domestic abuse of her on him. It's very more common in Hollywood than it is in the rest of the country.
Well, and I mean, look at him. And maybe that's why he's so gleefully happy right now. Is he's
to get out of the house,
across the pond. Well, we've talked about that. Okay, we've talked about that. How the man never is at home. Like
right, but he's always pining to be at home.
Exactly.
And he never works. I mean, this job, if he does every day on this shoot, he'll be gone for 30 days. But I doubt he's going to be in every day.
Oh, no kidding.
Of this masterpiece called 97 Minutes, one of the great action films of all time. It's 97 minutes long, and it's 97 minutes in an airplane. Because the airplane has been weaponized, and there's people on board who may know how to de-weaponize it, and he may be the head of the NSA or assistant director of the NSA, and it sounds like, Die Hard on a plane.
Yeah, or snakes on a plane, or all the variants.
Don't call him a snake. That's not very nice.
Oh, you're right. I shouldn't insult snakes. That is cruel. But apparently, okay, we've talked about that before, and what I was thinking of when I saw that the people mistook him as a hobo is if he walked into a custom shop, how would you greet him?
Oh, you would say, well, you're obviously in show business. Have you bought our shirts before? Well, it may interest you to know we make all our own shirts. In fact, we make everything we carry. Can I show you a new broadcloth shirt? And he'd go, get away from me. And I go, a lot of people say that. We make our own ties. You like to browse around. I understand that. Let me show you how our ties are arranged. Eat me. Okay, that's nice too. No, there's dialogue for everything, Eric.
Exactly. Anyway, it's the first thing I thought of. But another thing we talked about is you and I were talking, I think you said it, but you're like, he has no friends. No. There's been nobody. The only person that he's shown up to, he was like skulking into the house. It was Woody Allen.
Yeah.
But it appears when he went across the pond, he found a friend.
Who? Oh, Martin Bashir.
Yeah, Martin Bashir. Now, what's interesting is, look, I didn't really know all that went down, but apparently in 2013, both he and Martin Bashir were on MSNBC, that stellar network.
Remember that, yeah.
And within like weeks of each other, they both managed to get fired.
Hard to do over there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So we have.
Was there any reason for their firing? Did they?
Well, Alec, you'll be shocked. I mean, shocked to your core. But apparently, Alec had a temper problem, and he went off on the paparazzi using the F word with a double G.
Oh, right.
Which we can't say.
Right. I remember. Yes, I remember that. And that's
And then,
apparently you're saying frowned upon at MSNBC?
apparently
Oh
they
my.
were not
Oh
happy
my. They're
about it.
very strict over there.
Well, it was here, but anyway, and what was it? Oh, and then Bashir.
Why are they holding hands in that photo? The two of them.
I don't know. Good question. Maybe he's picking his pocket. You know, Bashir got fired again, so he might be broke.
Oh, this is bizarre. What is he doing now?
I don't know, but he got fired from MSNBC for suggesting that Governor Sarah Palin qualified for a dose of discipline from Thomas Thistlewood. Yeah, he's a plantation owner who apparently beat slaves and forced them to eat, shall we say, dung? I don't know how to put it.
Feces?
Yeah.
Human feces?
Yep. I'm trying to keep monetized for a minute.
Well, Thistlewood is being played in the biopic by Robert De Niro. That's why I mentioned that.
Okay.
The biopic of Thomas Thistlewood, which is being produced by Paramount.
Well, didn't they always say he's a method actor?
That's the method. That's what
okay.
Part of the method.
Okay, so that is what is going on with Alec currently. A little bit more. We've got, of course, Alec is he's giving, and he talks about his time, if you will. Let me see if I've got sound hooked up here.
Okay.
Hold on. This is his first day of filming. I'm not going to do every freaking Instagram. I can only tolerate so much.
Does he shoot these with that stick, Eric? Does he bring in a cinematographer from the union?
I'm thinking he probably has a selfie stick of some kind.
All right.
But very importantly, thank you, Georgina Wilson.
Go, Georgina. We love you.
Yes,
Coffee
we do.
Book. Yeah.
That is super.
A lot of people do this with the head on the pillow selfie Instagram.
Yes.
That's why I'm wondering.
Well, Reddit, they thrashed him. If anybody wants to, just get like all kinds of dishy dirt or whatever, there's a Reddit on Halyna Baldwin.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's Hilaria. I got to get that right. From Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston.
They commented that apparently people do this on Instagram because it allows the fat to roll backward and makes their face appear thinner.
Wait a second. There's a reason for this? Susan Page, how did Alec land this job with everything going on? Okay, well, that's what we're going to get into, Susan, because this is a very low budget film. And that's why I was going to address that question. The director is named Tino Voronzola, and he is a 6'6" Finnish man who in 25 years has directed 3 movies. Just so you know where we are with this guy's career. It's being written by a guy named Pavan Groubert, also I think is Finnish, who has 1 credit in 21 years. I mean, think about these numbers. I mean, astounding that you can attract a star, whatever you make of Alec Baldwin, that these 2 mutts were able to get this guy on a plane to go to London for a movie is astonishing. Now, Timo, which is his real name, had 1 fairly watchable movie, and that was the reboot 2 years ago of Jeepers Creepers Reborn. I don't know if you guys remember the horror film Jeepers Creepers.
You never watched it, heard of it.
Right. Okay, but that's the only thing in either one of these guys' bio that registers as anything on the planet Earth. And Alec Baldwin somehow loved the script, or what I believe is he took a check and he went over there for 30 days to take a check and go back home. Because,
or he'll go to Paris after.
He'll go to Paris after for a real movie with Woody, and then bank the money and then retreat back to his lair. Because the amount of money, by the way, this is a $7 million budget, I found out. I don't have the script yet, but I'm working
Coincidence
on it.
Much?
What?
Perfect coincidence. That lines up just
right. No, exactly the same amount. This is his niche now, is the $7 million picture, because his bankability fits into a budget of a certain film that apparently is $7 million. That's what he's bankable at. So in other words, when you get, like we were talking about before the show, if you get Alec Baldwin and you don't get him, but you're floating his name to the bank, the bank says for Alec Baldwin, the budget can be X. And that is apparently $7 million. So if you can make a movie for $7 million, you could get Alec Baldwin is what I'm trying to tell you.
Wow. And $7 million is pretty low.
Especially, keep in mind, there's an action picture on a plane. You know what I mean? This is not a walk and talk thing through the park. You know, like walking and talking. This isn't. You know, obviously, it's a stage plane. You know, on a sound stage, right? It's probably the way I would have sold this movie was repeatedly one set. It's one set. It's one set. That's how you sell it. Never leave the plane or on the plane for the entire movie, and that's how you sell the movie to the bank. Because if you have to leave and set up, the only thing you're going to leave and set up in this movie is probably the airport. You know, getting on and off the plane. But the bulk of this movie is going to be, and just my guess, but the bulk of this movie is going to be on the plane, cutaway to NSA headquarters, or the
traffic controller.
Yeah. But these are cheap cutaways. But I would say of the 97 minutes, I would say 80 of them are on that plane, and all the different passengers. And I wonder if they're going to be wearing masks on the plane. That's a good question.
God only knows. And thank you, Sparty Matt. I do like this one. As a teacher who teaches American history, you guys have been blowing my mind, teaching my curriculum, and inspiring to read some new books. That's fantastic.
That's great, Sparty. That's the whole point of the show. It
really, really is.
Thank you.
The Baldwin is silent. So, okay, this is Baldwin now talking about his new gig and the film set.
The new movie?
Yep.
Okay.
This is after his first day, and you can see he's really supportive.
Has no lines, no script. He has no script.
Said I would.
Can you hear it?
You got to raise it a little.
Diary.
This is all I have.
While I was traveling and working, we had our first day today, which is always tricky. I don't work as much as I used to, and I've said this before, maybe, but you go to work and you forget what you're supposed to do.
What an idiot.
Oh God, what do you do?
Wait. All right. I can't watch him anymore. Get rid of him.
It's nonsense.
He forgot how to be an actor. Is that what he's saying, Eric?
Yeah, let it roll for a minute.
I can barely hear him.
I know. You bear it out. I'm being quiet. Sorry, man.
But I've ended up doing. But it's strange to go back to work. I haven't worked since October 21st of last year.
And what happened then?
When this horrible thing happened on the set of this film, and
really, some planes crashed into a building.
The accidental death of our cinematographer Halyna Hutchins.
At least you got a name.
Caused by me.
I even still find that hard to say.
Touche.
I went back to work today for the first time in 3.5 months. And, movies are nearly always the same. Everybody's young. Compared to me, everyone's young. Especially an independent film where there are good people. There are very good people. But everybody's chasing all the good people, and a lot of the best ones get gobbled up by projects that have more money. When you have a very
low level,
a very limited
riffraff.
budget. It's
like
filling
him.
positions with people who are.
Here we go.
He's throwing the crew under the bus, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who are good.
I'm left with these bums.
Probably early in their career.
Early.
Wow.
And young.
Young, very young. I like him young.
Everybody's young.
Young.
And
I'm a psycho.
they work hard.
Hard, too hard.
Crew of movies are hardworking people. They're very hardworking, on their feet all day.
I just shoot them.
In an unheated building, I might add.
Yeah, I was freezing.
He had no heat.
No heat. I got sick.
Look at his hair.
It was a tricky day.
I don't know. What are those little buns?
Many independent films could be very tricky in terms of getting them done.
Wait, hold on. He's mumbling incoherently
The
now.
work you have and the time you have are definitely not in sync. So my hair looks like Princess Leia. I don't know.
That was funny.
But I went back to work today. It was interesting.
I'm tired.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And nice people, nice town I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm bored. Anyway, you get the point.
Wow.
And we have Mark's second friend from Texas. Thank you,
Oh,
Texas.
good. Right
Business
on,
Podcast.
Texas. Right on.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to go through the whole thing, but I really thought it was pretty fun about how he threw the crew under the bus, and he's sitting there going, essentially, they're all bums and garbage. And he's like, but he's like, oh, I can't say that. Shit. Oh, they're all young.
Yeah.
And
inexperienced, and it's dangerous on those crews and sets. It's very dangerous.
It's cold. It's cold there.
They've picked out the best people, left me with this riffraff. All the best ones went to the bigger productions, and I'm stuck with these people. They work hard, but they're the worst. They're the worst. Yeah,
they are. Okay, so what else do we have that has happened? Another thing he did when coming to the airport, and I can only bear to watch so much Alec Baldwin Instagram.
I know, it's hard.
But he had a 2-minute video talking about a funny story of his driver getting his car stolen, because that's just hilarious.
Oh, I'm sure the driver thought it was funny too.
Yeah, well, Alec definitely
he seems to get off on the foibles and assaults on working class people. That seems to be the bulk of his jokes of funny things to him that happen to the working class that the working class is not happy about. You know what I mean? Like having your car stolen, getting shot, things of that nature. He seems to get off on that.
Yeah, it is. Maybe it's a symptom of a guy who lives, I guess it's in the Hamptons, essentially, and ran his neighbors off and took over their farm for a suspect. Yeah.
What's that story? I have yet to go through the story.
Okay, on Reddit, and I already got permission to use all of it, but it's pretty complex. Alec has, if you will, with Hilaria, created a tax shelter situation and horse ranch, ran off his neighbors, but apparently there may be some really interesting financial considerations about it. Now, I'm not smart enough to understand the finances completely, so it'll take me time to actually go through it, look at it, and see how it goes. But essentially, there are questionable business dealings. Somebody put together a really, really nice long post breaking down all the documents and tax forms and things like that. I know.
That's funny.
And we'll look at that one later. And thank you, Jay Giza.
Love your humor. We have to laugh. It's so sad. What are we going to do?
Oh, God. He's killing us. And no, Ray J, I'm not going to get, not today. There's no guarantees in the future.
Right.
I'm if I have to suffer doing this,
you'll have to suffer with us.
Yes, you will. I'm sorry. That's the way it goes. We have to spread the pain so we can tolerate it. Speaking of the pain, I actually brought this up in our Q&A episode, but I realized that wasn't a Baldwin episode, and so there might have been a few people who are only loyal to Alec Baldwin stories, which is very shameful. But I want to correct the record that I got the wrong Nicole Montoya on the last Alec Baldwin show. This, in fact, is Nicole Montoya. She looks nothing like the person that I shared, and she is the prop assistant.
Has she been sued by anybody yet? You can't get in this game unless you're being sued. Who's suing her?
Currently, she is not being sued.
Oh, come on. Somebody must have sued her.
No, she is not, but her boss is. And her boss's boss is. And the armorer is.
Okay.
And
now who's
this is Sherilyn Schaefer. And Sherilyn Schaefer is the newest lawsuit.
Oh my.
Sherilyn was a medic on the set.
Medic.
And she was stressed out.
Right.
By everything that went down. And has put together a lawsuit.
Wait, what happened to her? Because she had to deal with being a medic?
She is suing over the stress of
doing her job.
Essentially,
that's bizarre, Eric.
It is an interesting thing, but
I am a medic. I had to do medic stuff that stressed me out. Hence, I'm suing you for doing my job as a medic, which is what you hired me to do.
Yes,
Okay.
she is suffering trauma, and I don't want to shrink. Believe me, we do understand there's PTSD. We've got a couple
Oh, here
comments
we
about
go
it.
again with the PTSD. Here we go.
I know that we sometimes may come off as unsympathetic. That doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge PTSD. I was in the military. I don't suffer it, but I know many people do who do. It is a very real thing, and it is possible for a medic to suffer it. I acknowledge that she was there with Halyna when Halyna died. This is not a fun circumstance. However, it is kind of part of the job, many
Being a
would
medic,
say.
right?
Right. And I know that the argument was put forth by her in the suit of, she was there mostly to like treat insect bites and this and that. But I
Okay.
can't
All
help
right.
but say,
It happens.
this happened to be a gunshot. Well, what if
Should've got hit
somebody
by a car? What if somebody got run over by a
right?
car?
What if they got hit by a car? What if they fell off a horse? It's a Western.
It's
And they
your
could have
job.
broken and been like Christopher Reeve, and that would have been incredibly traumatic and bloody.
Right.
And so all of this, it's like, no, you are at risk of seeing something that's very traumatic.
Right.
But she is suing a bunch of people, as
my.
these go,
You're suing David Halls?
of course.
Oh,
But this is where it gets really
Seth
interesting.
Kenny? She's suing him?
She's suing Seth Kenny, but who do you not see?
Who did you call a Nazi? Did you call somebody a Nazi?
How dare you? We're never going to stay monetized, you freak.
Okay, who am I not seeing on there? Is Alec
Yes.
Baldwin gone?
He is not on here.
Oh my.
So this is a very odd circumstance, right? She manages to sue. Now, Sherilyn Schaefer is the plaintiff, and then who are we suing here? Let's look at the list. The production, okay, producers, fine. Hannah Gutierrez Reed, well, that seems obvious just because of her job. Sarah
Right.
Zachary, David Halls, PDQ Armor Prop, so Seth Kenny's company, and Sarah Zachary works for Seth Kenny, and by default, so Seth Kenny as well. Bonanza Creek Farm Film Locations, which is very interesting. So she's suing the ranch itself,
Right.
the ranch, and then Shannon Hughes, and they're collectively the dependents. And thank you, Jan. I hope I'm
Denmark
saying
in
that
the
right.
house. Go Copenhagen.
And you're losing your beauty sleep. Sorry to hear that.
All right. Thank you so much.
But thank you. Okay, so those are all the defendants. I do find it very interesting that Alec Baldwin is not on there, but
It is bizarre.
this is where it's really, really interesting.
What do we got here? What's this?
They're talking about all the defendants. The Movie Productions, which is a New Mexico limited liability company.
Right.
Hannah, who is a citizen of Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Zachary, New Mexico. Halls, California. PDQ, New Mexico company. And Jeremiah. Okay, this is talking about the agent. PDQ Armor Prop was established as a corporation with the Jeremiah Bitsui, who was in The Walking Dead, I believe, and either Walking Dead or that movie about the meth dealing.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. I think he's
Well,
tied in
that's
with those.
interesting because the prop house in L.A. sued Seth Kenny for poaching his clients from The Walking Dead to start his original business out there when he left the L.A. prop house.
Yeah, well, they're all tied in with The Walking Dead and the new.
Right. The
variant of
Walking
that.
Dead's a big client, or that at least the lawsuit went on for a long time before both sides must have settled it, as I recall.
Right. And I'm trying to find where it does say this, because there's a point in here where they were saying that this has to stay in New Mexico. And I think that might be why they don't have Baldwin on here.
You mean everybody involved is in New Mexico? Is that it?
Or they're trying to keep it to such. Here we go. Plaintiff and one or more of the LLC members, Hughes, Zachary, are all citizens. Therefore, this case is not removable to federal court.
Oh, but this is that trick that Barnes always talks about.
Mm-hmm. And so I think they're doing the reverse of this.
Yeah.
Where they don't want this shit to go federal. And if they went after Baldwin, maybe he'd be one too many. And they figured, plus they knew he'd have the ability to pay for lawyers to defend himself.
Right.
So I think they're going for the low hanging. And I don't know if these lawyers are not able to practice federally. or what it is. But I find that already, this is one of the things I found early that was an interesting question, and I would love to find out from David or somebody else. And yes, Ziggy, a highlighter would be my friend, but that would involve my actually highlighting this ahead of time.
Psych.
Jeez.
Oh, we got to ask the Barnes on this one, because this is federal district. That's his specialty, is federal court.
Absolutely.
And how they jockey back and forth. But you know what I mean? From federal to state court. That's like one of his pet peeves.
Oh, yeah, it is. Anyway, but that's a theory of mine. I could be wrong on that. We're going on and on here. This is where it gets really pretty interesting here. Where did we have it? This is people yelling at me. Oh, God. There's so much in this stupid.
How long is the lawsuit?
It's 29 pages.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad.
No, but it's like a
You're
laundry
gonna post it on Locals for the members?
Oh, absolutely. I'll post it for free.
I'm broke, but you guys may need this more than me if Mark's getting.
Yes.
Mark doesn't shut up and we get demonetized.
No kidding, man. I can't
JP.
control this guy. Maybe you guys can.
I wish it's like the 7 words you can't say on TV. You know, you don't know what they are though with YouTube. They don't tell you.
Well, no, it's a moving target. They'll just say violating terms of service. All right, I've got to find. Okay, this is very annoying. One part of this hilarious is it actually stated that Alec Baldwin shot and killed Hannah Gutierrez Reed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe that was his initial target.
I don't know.
It was, and then things went awry, Eric. He was aiming for her, and because of some love spat they had the night before.
All right, so let's go through it. The basic stuff. First, they state the film. Halyna was the cinematographer. Non-party Alec Baldwin was an actor and producer. It's so funny because you keep reading non-party, but I think it just means that we're talking about him, but he is not a defendant. He's not a party.
Why would Halls be a defendant? Halls, if it's a New Mexico thing, Halls lives in California. So I mean,
I think he's the one person extra that they threw.
Right. Weird. That's weird.
Yeah. So anyway, Halls is there. Then Sarah Zachary, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, as the armorer and the property key assist. And we have again more about Hannah Gutierrez Reed. It was their second film as an armorer. And here we go with the armorer mentor. With Seth Kinney.
I love that phrase, the armorer mentor.
Now,
there it is. You're right. Seth Kinney was the armorer mentor for Rust. Interesting.
Thank you,
words? Exact words.
Come on, Eric. Yeah, come on. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do to us? Give me a break.
Oh, you guys.
This is much nicer. Thank you.
South Texas gal. I love gals in South Texas.
Oh, hell
they always have nice cats down there. South. Those gals in South Texas, always nice cats.
Oh, that's a nice orange cat.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with a good orange cat. All right.
Alec Baldwin was acting within the course and scope of their employment for defendant Rust movie productions. Okay, I could buy that. At the time, what is not? First of all, we got to find out what non-party means. That's number one.
Well, I think non-party is he's not a party. He's not.
But why put his name in there? Why is his name in there?
Well, that's what I think is so interesting. Is they have to include it because he's very much a part of everything. Everything is revolving around him, and he had the freaking gun. So, what is going on with this? Now, the whole armor mentor thing, by the way, I've had confirmed. I don't know if he technically was or was not armor mentor, but the production documents, there are documents that do have him listed as armor mentor.
I thought so. Am I crazy, or is that true? I thought so.
Yes, I have screenshots that were sent to me.
I thought so.
That.
I thought I was losing my mind there.
So it could have been incorrect, but technically,
but still was a phrase that they were using to explain his role in this thing.
Exactly.
Which is not that bizarre. It made sense from day one, Eric.
Yeah. Okay, so Shannon Hughes was the site representative.
For what?
That's a new name for us.
What is that one?
That she runs the ranch.
Oh, right. Okay, gotcha.
It was representative of whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so they're stating that the ranch and the locations company, her employers, are responsible for her because she lets safety things go. Well, you'll see as we go on. And She was acting within the course. Yes, okay. She was doing her job. Now, Halyna Hutchins was working with Alec Baldwin in the church, rehearsing camera angle as opposed to using a prop gun or his finger. He was using a prop gun. Here we go again. You're going to see there's a lot of factual issues here, but we've already gone over what a prop gun is.
Yeah.
The Colt gun was a Colt 45 single action Colt revolver. Yes, true. Halyna was struck.
Wait, do you have a picture of the gun? The actual gun?
I actually do, yes.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Maybe
I'll show it later.
Well, how much later? Because I got things to do.
Well, it'll be within the time of the show.
But
I do not want to find my place.
Not after the show. Okay.
No, it'll be in the show.
Oh, gotcha. Great. Now I can hang on. Okay, go ahead.
There you go. I don't want to lose my place on this and have to go scroll around again.
I'm sorry.
I don't have a highlighter, Ziggy. I didn't highlight it.
Hutchins was initially treated at the scene for approximately 30 minutes.
Yes.
That was weird. The fact that they treated her for 30 minutes there when they could have had her airborne for 30 minutes, you know.
Yeah, but it took time for them to respond. I mean, I think they did call for help immediately. I didn't get any impression that there was a delay. And then she was transported where she died. All right, so here we go. Before the rehearsal, Hannah loaded the revolver, and Sarah assisted Hannah Gutierrez Reed in handling the revolver. Before then, before the rehearsal and after loading, Hannah gave it to David Halls. And then it's saying that she placed it on a cart. So did she give it to David Halls, or did she put it on a cart? Or did she put it on the cart and he retrieved it from the cart? Is that how hey, David, it's over there. Go get it. So we have two things here. How did it actually get to him? Don't know. This is not being clear. Let's see. Hannah Gutierrez Reed told David Halls and others that the loaded revolver was a cold gun. And it was, in fact, not a cold gun. Now, I can't say this, but I might have a bottle that came in that told me that the words cold gun never were uttered from Hannah Gutierrez Reed.
Like I said to you from day one, I've never heard that phrase. And I was, castigated for that. And it's a phrase that I've never heard either,
Again, I can't say where, but anyway, it was told to me that she has never said that and that she used terms like dummied up.
Dummied up. I would buy that better. Dummied up. I like that. Dummied up with dummy rounds.
Right. And
dummied up. I like that.
Peasant schadenfreude. There you go. That's what Alec has.
Oh, right. Oh, that's interesting. Very good, Freud.
I think so.
Very good. Touche.
Anyway, so the phrase cold gun means the gun does not contain live rounds or ammunition, or it means the gun is empty. Well, pick up your mind and make up your mind, people. They don't know what the hell they're talking about in here. So
they're trying to cover all their bases,
Sure. But then here we go again. Dummy rounds look like live rounds, except for a small hole in the side that identifies them. Not necessarily. These, from everything I've read and seen, were BB filled. That's why she was shaking them.
That's right.
And they're stating that they got the BB part, but then anyway, it's if you break into it, the facts start to get confusing. A live round does not make a noise when shaken. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
that's true. David Halls handed non-party Alec Baldwin. Here we go. Non-party.
Non-party. We got to find out what that means.
Yeah, I'm guessing what it is. Okay, Ziggy Shrug. Thank you. Okay. Get yourself a highlight.
That's a $20 highlighter. It's going to be huge.
Is highlighted. I'm highlighting your super chat, Ziggy. Thank you so much. It's a priority. All right. So David was supposed to check the gun for live ammunition before he handed it to Baldwin. That's again a big question on that. I'm always going to argue. I don't know why the hell he had custody of this. That just doesn't seem right. But whatever. But I don't know what his job is. And then we go into he was fired from a previous film due to his responsibility for gun safety laws.
Can I just say something about this, about the firing of Halls and some other? In most of these cases, one thing not these cases, they fight like dogs and cats not to bring in previous things having nothing to do with this particular incident. Why is this guy continually being smeared over another job when he's done 150 films? And he got fired on one film. Why? Well, you know what I'm saying? Like judges block this all the time, Eric, for coming into
civil.
I know it's civil, but they do block it in civil too.
I don't know. I'd have to check with Barnes on that because civil gives them a lot of latitude, and it's not
Okay.
like because criminal, it's like can't do that. Not necessarily relevant. I think
Okay,
civil they
I'll have
can.
to buy that for now, but I'm not happy. Go on.
Okay, talk to
I'll
Barnes.
take it for now, but
Talk to
I mean,
Barnes.
it's
man.
not like Halls is inexperienced like Hannah Reid. Halls has done over 100 movies. People get fired from movies every goddamn day in this town for all kinds of weird reasons.
Oh, I know because you're weirdos.
Right, but I'm saying
Yeah.
his track record is enormous. Is enormous.
True. All right, so here we go. When he handed the gun over, he stated cold gun. Now that one I think may have happened because he claimed Baldwin claimed he said that. I think a couple others did.
Okay.
So maybe he said those words. Fine. Here's my favorite line coming up here in just a second. All right. Hannah Gutierrez Reed was supposed to be present at the site when the guns were to be used. I agree. She was not present during the rehearsal when he was handed. I agree with that. That's interesting. Look at 66.
Non-party Alec Baldwin discharged the gun, killing Hannah Gutierrez Reed. And I
Maybe
guess
that's why they
wow.
drug her.
Facts
carried her out.
regarding the ammunition. Oh, that's the next one. Yeah.
I like
Is
that.
you're saying that's a typo?
Well, that's a lot of letters typoed out, but let's just say it's an error. It's a pretty grave error.
This has already been filed in state
Yes,
court?
this is the filed. Yes.
Oh my God. I assume she's still alive unless there's more news that we don't know about.
No, allegedly she's still there, and there were pictures taken of her after that day. So I think
So
she's
she
okay.
lives. She lives.
I hope she's okay. I hope she is.
Based on this, though, she's dead.
I know, but then when she's dead, why are you suing a dead person?
They're suing a dead person.
That's just insane.
Wow. A medic is suing a girl who's not dead, but claims she's dead. And that has created PTSD. I hate to use those letters because that might trigger someone. But that girl is suing because she's got PTSD over the wrong person. That's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy.
All right. So
what a mess. What a mess.
Yep. And it gets to go on here too. All right. The suppliers. So this is where we start to get into Hannah, Kennedy. Sarah, Seth, Nicole, by way of Sarah. Because I've had to confirm that Sarah works for PDQ.
Oh, really?
Yes. So Nicole works for the production
when she's not on a set.
Right. That's her job is PDQ.
So she could be a gun wrangler. She could be a gun armorer herself. I mean, why do you need Hannah Gutierrez Reed? Wasn't Sarah?
I'm not sure on that. I don't know.
Well, that doesn't make any sense because the prop master would have to know far more than guns to work on a movie.
Right, but if we're talking about the company, and again, I'm speculating here. We're talking about a film prop business that's PDQ Arm and Prop. She could have handled the prop end of that business, and maybe didn't have the gun end. Maybe he's the gun guy.
You're thinking they have other props?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I never thought of that. You might be right. You're saying it's okay. So the place he worked out in L.A., the prop house, had every kind of prop.
Right.
Right. I assumed, for reasons I don't know, that PDQ Arm and Prop was a gun prop shop, but you're saying that it might be a prop house.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, that's what you did before.
I never thought of that.
Anyway, but I don't know. And again, so maybe she didn't have the talent, or maybe she just didn't have the training. I have no idea on that. Anyway, Seth Kinney owns it. Seth Kinney supplied dummy rounds to the set. And then Seth Kinney also supplied live ammunition to the set of Rust. Now, nobody has claimed that PDQ supplied live ammunition, at least not deliberately. Well, so I don't know if they're pulling that from.
Hasn't the name Billy Ray surfaced as the live ammo guy?
From my understanding, he was doing dummies too.
Oh, Billy Ray. Okay.
But he didn't have the size.
He didn't have that size. Okay. Yeah.
And
who is this guy, Billy Ray? I mean, this is a mystery man, Billy Ray.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad. Look, Seth Kinney's bad enough. I've been looking around to find a picture of that dude everywhere.
Right.
And at least I found voice recordings of him on Good Morning America.
Right.
And he's been quoted a couple times. Billy Ray is a freaking ghost.
Total ghost.
I mean, he found him on art director pages and stuff like that, but I can't find a single picture of this dude anywhere, and yet he works, like legit stuff, Breaking Bad type of thing,
right?
All these New Mexico deals. So
it's amazing, absolutely amazing.
So anyway, they're saying ammunition from Seth came from another movie set he worked on. So this, I think they're just pulling straight off the Hannah suit.
Right.
Because I haven't seen that anywhere else but in her suit. And that was the whole thing about Thel Reed, ammo cans, and Seth Kinney. So I'm assuming that's what they're doing.
What does this have to do with the medic? You know, you could say this. I'm just hypothesizing here.
Sure.
I was not given the tools necessary to do the type of thing for a gunshot wound. I was not given the backup. I did not have a phone. I did not. I mean, related to your job.
Mm-hmm.
What she's saying, she's essentially saying some prop house gave a gun to someone else with some ammo, and I couldn't do my job. You know what I mean? It's not really connected to her line of work.
No, I feel like she's saying that Hannah got shot and killed, and that stressed me out. And all these people are at fault for that bullet hitting Hannah.
Okay, so
I'm not Hannah. Jeez, man, they've got me saying it now. Not Hannah, Halyna.
Oh, okay. But what I'm saying is, this suit has, what I'm gathering, has absolutely nothing to do with her actual job.
No, I don't believe it does.
She's not alleging anything about work. She's saying the death of this woman gave me PTSD. That has nothing to do with her being a medic. She's not Eric. She's not referencing anything about being a medic in the entire lawsuit.
Not yet. We've got 21 pages to go, man.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, you were like, well, that's not that long. I told you there's a lot here. All right, whatever. Thel's Hannah's father worked with Seth. We've been through all this. There was training provided to some of the actors. That was the reason for the live rounds. Seth's, well, he got it from Thel. See, this is all straight from Hannah's lawsuit. So I'm going to kind of blow through that. It's not really super exciting. It is a repeat. There's this whole weirdness about the ammunition and the logo Starline Brass. Now, this is, in fact, true that Starline Brass does not manufacture live rounds. As you see in 90, I contacted Starline Brass and asked them directly because I don't trust any of these suits.
Right.
And they said, no, they do not manufacture anything, only components of bullets, but they do not actually load them.
So these people are putting them together themselves.
Well, somebody did
at
some point. I don't know. Let's see. Prior to
this would seem to be more like Hutchins' family's lawsuit.
Yes, I agree. This really would make a lot of sense if it was Matthew's.
That's what it reads like.
Yeah, but I think she's trying to say that it's the same basic effect. She died. I'm stressed. You know, whatever it is breaking down, but same chain of custody, except for the one guy who actually had.
Let me ask you something. Does Matthew Hutchins have to prove that he's got PTSD to sue about his wife?
I don't know, but that's something I haven't brought up yet in the show, but something's coming pretty soon. About a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, they made a declaration, essentially, or an announcement of their attorney with the intent to sue. So they stated this is the attorney and blah, 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 blah. And I have that document. It's just not as exciting.
Right. Well, that would be the mother of all lawsuits, right? Because that's going to cover the waterfront, to quote Billie Holiday, and will cover everything. But I'm just saying, he doesn't have to allege that he's got PTSD. He lost his wife.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. Okay. Out of all these lawsuits,
they all claim to have PTSD. I mean, everybody has PTSD from this incident. I mean, it just seems insane.
Well, what else are they going to claim? What's their direct injury?
That's what I'm saying. It's so easy to get a therapist in this town to write a letter that you have PTSD.
Right.
When you go to court, like Kobe Bryant's wife went to court, they shredded her a month ago in LA Superior Court here over her claim that she had PTSD. And for some reason, they turned on her like savages and shredded her. And the city did not want to pay her out. This is the case where the sheriffs had photos of the crash of Kobe with the helicopter. And she said that gave her PTSD. They did not accept that in court and went to war with her over this. And they shredded her over PTSD. And if these suits end up in LA Superior Court, there's a long precedent now.
Well, hold on though. This is staying in New Mexico. Notice they made a specific.
That was my next line. Yeah.
So maybe they knew that. whatever. Again, obviously Matthew Hutchins has a suit because there's a boy without a mother and a husband without a wife. It's very
Right.
blatant and obvious. Out of all these suits, that's the only one that I'm really saying, okay, there's a suit here. Definitely. The other ones, I'm like, I don't know. I just have questions.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Again, this is not to diminish PTSD for the 500th time. I'm just questioning the use in the lawsuit.
Exactly. Let me see.
In case you've not seen Countdown again, YouTube.
Yes, we've seen it and actually used some of it with permission.
Yeah, no, we're hip to that. Yeah, it's really a must see. We've seen it. Yeah, thanks, Brian. Also, his Joe Biden is insane.
Oh, he's great.
Dude, the Joe Biden one is like, wow.
and the way he changes the words out and everything. It's
man, wow. Is that guy? In a perfect world, he'd be doing the cold opening on SNL, but I guess you can't criticize the buffoon in chief.
Oh, no kidding. But you know what? He does it on his own, and he owns everything that he does.
Good
on him, man.
Good on him.
All right, so here we go again. Sarah Zachary knew or should have known how to distinguish a live round from a dummy round.
Oh, she probably does.
And should have known it contained a live round. David Halls knew or should have known how to distinguish a live round from a dummy round or blank. Why? Now, this is when I immediately back up.
Why are you alleging they don't?
Right. Well, exactly. Well, they're saying that they handled this and it went over there. How the hell does David Halls know that? Is he an armorer? Is he trained? Is he?
Nope.
So that one, I'm like immediately going.
Might as well say the cameraman.
Yeah. I mean, that's just throwing chaff out there.
Right.
Because there is nothing stating. Now, yes, I know he's been in a lot of movies and maybe he does, but I don't see anything on there.
There's no legal reason why he's got to be a gun expert. I mean, that's right.
They hire somebody for that.
Right. Not him.
All right. After the shooting, Sarah Zachary inspected the ammo used to load. She shook the box of ammunition and discovered what she believed to be live rounds because they did not make a noise. Now, if you shake the whole box and all of them are dummy rounds, what did you say? Oh, I perceive 2 rounds not shaking. This maraca sound isn't as strong as it was one. Or is it you go through each one and shake the bullets? But
I don't know. That's a tough call. That's a tough call. You get a box of 50. I got a feeling that if you shake like 30 of them, you're going to make some assumptions about that box.
Of course you are. You're going to hear.
I mean, there is a time factor here in the film. You don't have unlimited time to sit there and shake every shell casing, Eric.
Right. And this is what I don't like is I know they're throwing things out there for a case, but it's like, can we get specific and really, really factual?
Right.
I mean, if you're going to put out a lawsuit, I shook a box. What are you talking about? All right. Prior to the shooting, they mixed rounds of ammunition from different boxes together and transported the mixed ammunition loose in fanny packs. Well, so, I mean, they come in boxes.
Let me just interject something here. It would seem incredibly hard to take dummy rounds with a pellet in it out of that box when you eventually put it in the gun, the 6 rounds, to not feel the pellet. That would be insane. How could that possibly happen? Forget about that big box of dummy rounds, the 50. Right. I'm talking about the 6 or the 5, the cowboy.
Yeah, you'll be like, shake, boom, shake, boom, shake.
Not shaking every single one that's on the premises, you know.
Well, and also some of this too, like transporting the mixed ammo. Well, okay, there's 50 rounds in a box, I'm assuming. It could be 20, it could be 50. I don't know the exact number.
I think it's 50. I think it is 50.
Okay. But then they're filling all these straps up and belts up and things like that. What are they supposed to just carry all the boxes over there? It makes sense that they might have them in a bag and just go chuck, with the rounds. Some of this stuff they just worded out, and I don't feel like they have any sense about what may be going on.
Right.
Another one, remember when they were like, they're carrying them around in socks.
Well, keep in mind, Eric, that the dummy rounds that are going into Cowboys' belts are never coming out of those belts to go into any gun in the movie.
Right.
I mean, they are visual props.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The dummy rounds that she is taking care of when she's buffering them and cleaning them, that's a separate game. But the average extra who's got dummy rounds on the belt, those are never going to go in a gun. I mean, obviously the guy could snap and load the gun, but he'd still have a dummy round,
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And when you agree that throwing them in a bag together and just going, because you have to fill a whole bunch of them, it's assembly line kind of work.
Yep.
And even just plucking them one at a time at a time out of a box is very tedious. You take the box, you dump it upside down, and then you just grab. Anyway, whatever.
Well, usually what they probably did was sit there with like 30 belts or 15 belts on a little little set area and load the belts.
Yeah.
The 3 girls. You know,
Yeah, like in a sawhorse or on a table or something. Yeah. Standard. All right. PDQ is one of the suppliers of the ammunition. Who was the other?
Billy
Where's that magical Ray? Where's Billy Ray? All right. Tim Falk wants to know, does Alex have herpes on his nose?
You know what, Tim? I think he's onto something here, because I was thinking the same thing, that he's got the last time. Remember, he had the nose injury where he was cut in the other episode. Remember, Eric? He had the cut on the side of the nose. He didn't remember getting it.
Yes.
This one here, it's not shaving because he's obviously got a goatee thing going on. So
right. I don't know. It's a weirdo. All right. So Seth is a supplier. Hannah is one of the suppliers. Interesting. So she did bring ammo to the set. Now we've already got a problem. Did this come from her? Did it come from him?
Oh, right. Also, one of the suppliers the ammunition used on the set. Hannah also as one of. So they're saying she's a supplier.
Yeah.
In 112, right?
Yeah. That's what it says.
Oh, wow.
And here we go. Now we get into Armor Mentor. So this is where we're going to get Seth, because he owns the shop. He's Sarah's boss, and he's the mentor. So he's
entire lawsuit seems to be focused on Seth Kenny.
A lot of it, yeah. Seth, Hannah, yep. Don't worry though; they do get to others.
Oh, all right.
There's a ton of it. All right, so Seth is a mentor. Hannah's the armorer. Responsible. Bad. They don't know what they're doing. Bad. Okay, so now moving on.
Bad armorer.
Bad. This is some other weird stuff. Okay, Bonanza Creek Ranch has rules that everyone is required to follow.
Oh.
So this is where they're going after them. Now,
this is their
vehicles.
This is their one sheet of safety things. This is their one sheet, yeah.
And this is my last one here, that
including marijuana.
Yes, which I guess it's illegal. I don't know the laws in New Mexico. Maybe it's legal in there. I don't know.
Unauthorized alcohol. What is unauthorized alcohol as opposed to authorized alcohol?
Good question.
Thank you.
I also
illegal drugs would be what? You don't have a prescription for the crystal meth you're smoking,
right?
Okay.
And marijuana. I guess
even if you have what, a medical marijuana.
Maybe that's it.
Okay.
Maybe that's it. It's kind of.
What about explosives? What does that mean? Hand grenades?
I don't know. And by the way, does that mean that they're sometimes authorized or they're not? It's weird. And then personal firearms. That one's interesting.
That goes back to the plinking, then, you know.
Yeah, yes, and I think that's where they're going with it. I don't know if Hannah actually had a personal firearm. I have read that she did.
I would assume she did,
but I don't know. I can't say factually.
Okay, let me just say this: if I had my gun with me, and I'm sure all these guys did the same thing, you just leave it in your car, right? Sure. I mean, am I crazy? I mean, what else would a regular person do? It's not really on the set; it's in your car. I mean, if you got a carry license or not a license or whatever you got down in New Mexico, you just leave it in your car. It's not technically on the set, but I don't know. Maybe that's what
the military does. But anyway, here we go. Okay. This is weird. 121 and 122 almost contradict each other. The Creek Ranch rules prohibit invitees to bring firearms onto their premises, I guess, other than the ones that are in the movie. And then the second one does not prohibit them from bringing live ammunition. What?
Oh, that's bizarre.
Or is that what they're saying here with this list? They're saying, hey, on this list here, you don't say don't bring live ammunition, therefore you're responsible, which is kind of asinine. I mean, it's like, they're gonna have to.
Well, I think they're admitting that this is a live shooting movie ranch, and the guns are going to be brought onto the set, as is live ammo. Oh, it says, wait a second, do not prohibit ranchers. Right. Oh, wow, interesting.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking that they're saying that last line, that the arrow.
So every single person, every single expert who said in our chats that live ammo is never allowed on a movie set never read this Bonanza Creek Ranch rules.
There's that too.
Thank you. I feel vindicated. This is what Thel Reed was doing with the actors, showing them how to shoot on a range off of the set. Remember when Thel had, she was doing the same thing. That's why Baldwin was saying she showed me how to use the gun. Remember that
for
whole
90 minutes. It was
90 minutes. He wasn't shooting blanks for 90 minutes. He was shooting live ammo.
Yeah, most likely. All right, so Shannon is responsible, works for them. Here we go. And they're just saying that even though there's rules, she wasn't enforcing them. Therefore, because she didn't enforce them, they're held liable. I know I'm blowing through this, but it's, a matter of getting through this. We're almost halfway through.
Oh, gee, what are you, crazy? Come on, speed it up.
Yeah, thank you.
Come
on.
All
right, here we go.
Halfway through.
Finally learning about Sherilyn, our litigant. She was a key medic on the set.
Okay.
Her sole employer was Media Services Processing LLC. They are not the employers. Okay, so
that's the check cashing service.
Yeah, whatever. It's whomever they hired. This she's probably like a temp. I'm sure it's like a temp agency or whatever, and they pay them.
This thing here that's who cuts the checks for the employees of the film.
Okay.
I don't know. Is she saying she works for them?
That's what she's saying. She works for the Media Services Processing LLC, which okay. I think is like a temp agency. I just have a feeling
it's who cuts it. It's the accountant firm for a film. That's who you hire to do the accounting. If I remember, the only entity presently providing certain workman's compensation benefit. Right. Okay. Defendant Russ moved is not currently as provided with workers' comp benefits. Okay. Media Service is not a defendant in the lawsuit. Right. Media Services is not a defendant in the lawsuit. I'm still with you. Yeah. Workman's comp, blah, blah, blah. Why is she even mentioning them? I don't understand this.
Well, because they don't want them to slide off and say that, well, it's a workers' comp claim. Go on. Because that is a defense to this, right? Right. You're injured. It's a workers' comp claim. That's you guys.
Right.
Your problem. All right. As a key medic, here we go. She's responsible for ensuring that they stayed hydrated, were protected by sunscreen and bug spray, and provided any minor first aid needed. So what? It's like, oh, this is outside of my scope.
She would prefer that. I'm sure she'd prefer that to a gunshot.
Well, of course, but it's like you fall and break your leg. Sorry, can't help you. It's out of my scope. What in the hell does that mean? Are you a medic or not?
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
She was responsible for making the order to call for first responders in the event of serious injury. Well, okay, that's it. It sounds like an abdication of responsibility to a degree. It's like, I mean, of course you're going to call and get help.
Any nurse in a hospital who had to deal with a gunshot wound could say that I've got PTSD from this incident. I mean, that's her job. You know who this would work for was the script supervisor, and even that's a stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's her defense that she has PTSD.
Well, and hearing issues.
And the hearing issue, yeah.
So that we do have that one. And by the way, they did answer her suit. I have that in here too. I'm probably not going to go into it.
Thank God.
They asked to have that dropped. I'll put that on locals. Anything I don't do here, I'm going to put on locals.
Put it all on locals.
Anyway, enter the church, and this is just describing what went down, how she tried to save her life. And by the way, kudos. I mean, she did try to save her life. I'm not going to criticize her for trying to save Halyna's life or responding in that. I'm sure she did a fantastic job and did all she can. I mean, a 45 wound is not something that's a lightweight deal, and most people die. I mean, you get hit with that bullet in the wrong place, there's not much she could do. So I'm not going to criticize her ability or anything on that. And then this right here is where she's making the claim. Because of this, she's no longer able to work because she's stressed out doing the job. It caused the harm in that, and now she's going to have lost earning capacity, etc.
Right. Keep going. I get it.
She's been medically disqualified for work. Here we go.
All right, keep going. And
now we got the negligence part.
All right, I get it. We all get it. I think we get it. This is a nothing lawsuit.
I mean, it's
all right.
I got the points across, I think.
Yeah.
pretty well. Where there's contradictions, there's some issues. I will put it up on Locals.
Okay. They could look through it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for those who want to parse it, and yes, I know I rushed it through. For those who are curious, before we wrap up, and hey, got a new member.
Road
Thank
Trip
you.
Girl. Okay, welcome.
There
it is.
Now, this is not a replica. This is the actual revolver that fired the bullet that killed Halyna Hutchins. Came in a bottle.
Interesting.
Now, this obviously was taken before the incident because the revolver is currently with the FBI.
Right. How long do they keep that? 5 years, or how long does the FBI keep the gun?
They probably have it all the way through trial if there's a trial.
Right. Okay.
Because you have to present it as evidence for the trial. So, once the final outcome, I think then they return the property or whatever.
Yeah.
At this point. And it's a good question. How does someone justify that they have PTSD?
They just get a letter from the therapist. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But when you go to court, they shred you in court. If they're aggressive, they will shred you. And then it becomes gnarly. And that's what happened with Kobe Bryant's wife here in town. And she's not a nice person. Let me just say that. This is not a person anybody really likes. So it couldn't have happened to a nicer person.
Oh, so somebody in the chat is talking about, I blew by, I guess, paragraph 204. There are so many of them, and I do remember that. Again, Seth Kinney, while we were reading through it, accusing him of destroying evidence. That's another reason that they're suing him, is they're claiming that he destroyed the evidence, so they may never get the real mystery solved because he destroyed the evidence.
Interesting.
And that goes, remember, and where did they get that from? Oh, remember Hannah's lawsuit about locks and opening the locker or the safe and not the safe and who's on and not on?
And he had the code.
Allegedly
had the code. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And I'm not sure on that what went down, but it's very, very weird. Hey, how dare you, Yo-Yo?
From listening to Eric and Marks, I'm going to sue. Well, Yo-Yo could do that. And once you come to court, you better bring your A game.
Well, thankfully, Susan Page is
back. Yay, Susan Page.
Thank you very much. So she's going to help us defend ourselves.
Right. That's going to go in the legal fund.
Exactly. So we have a book fund. We have a legal fund.
Oh, my God.
One thing I think is interesting, there's always been a question about Alec Baldwin and his rig.
His what?
What kind of holster he had or things like that.
Yeah.
And got a bottle in to help us figure that out and visualize.
Oh, my. Look at that. That's a weird kind of rig.
So it, in fact, is a shoulder holster rig. And it appears that we have it kind of like around the neck and over the shoulder. And then this strap, I think, goes around here.
The waist, yeah.
So that it does kind of help visualize a little bit more what he. So pulling it, though, you would have to pull
straight up.
Or I don't know. Maybe it could tilt back slightly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure, but I thought this one is really, really helpful because I've had trouble visualizing exactly what he was wearing and things like that. So,
and you could pull those bullets out with that same right hand.
Yeah.
Code, right? There's about 6 there, or 7.
Looks like 6.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 6. It appears.
Well, that's what they're talking about, the cross draw, right, Eric?
Yes, and from another bottle, one of those bullets was live.
One of those was live.
Correct.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So very, very, very interesting. And I think that's it for the week. I mean,
that's a lot of information. Dude, that's a lot of. I'm going to stay up all night thinking about this now. I'm haunted as a man, as a filmer.
You can always read the lawsuit and get to sleep.
I'm going to read the lawsuit all night, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this. So what do we have coming up with this lawsuit? With Baldwin, what do we have? Just in general.
I don't know. I'm not going to
promise
you admit
anything. You admit you don't know.
That's correct.
Okay. So you have no idea what's going to happen.
I do not. I've heard that a sheriff's report is coming soon.
What?
Like imminent, like within a week or two. So
will Baldwin go to Paris and work on the Woody Allen film after this?
I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. And I think it's interesting. His phone got turned over or something happened with that. So I get the idea that they're wrapping up the investigation. Something's going to drop.
Yeah, I agree.
I've got feelers out there. I'm trying to talk, to people to find things out, and I'm putting it out here too. As people who are watching this should know by now, I'm not going to reveal my source if they don't want to be revealed.
Don't reveal them. Go
These
to
are
jail.
bottles.
Make them send you to jail before you give up the sources.
There you go. We have dots and bottles, and that's what we're all about.
William Webster. Wasn't he the head of the FBI, William Webster?
No shit. That's Australian, so we're okay. We're okay.
Okay. So got a lot of foreign viewers. You ever notice that, Eric? People from all around the world.
I think it's great.
Fascinated by American history.
It's Mark. You're an international celebrity.
I'm huge in Tasmania. Tasmania is probably our biggest base.
It's got to be. It's got to be. Well, we've got 1,071 people watching right now, so that's pretty damn huge.
That's good. I'm sick as a dog. I got to lay down. This is too much for me. I don't know.
On that note, give some advice then. Where can people find out?
Oh, I'm at Lord Buckley if you want to follow me on Twitter, which is a vicious subterranean warfare place, apparently, where people say nasty things. So I don't know how this thing operates, but you're at Lord Buckley if you follow me there. You can PayPal me for the funds to keep going and survive as a man in a strange business. You can join Locals through Eric, right? You join us?
It's in the description, unstructured.locals.com.
Will you become a member?
Yes, and by the way, Locals versus a YouTube membership actually gives you a lot more benefits. You can create posts. You can talk to other people. There's all kinds of activity on there all the time. And I mean, we learn things from there. It's really, really awesome. So I highly encourage that.
It's
YouTube,
it's like your own Twitter. It's like our own Twitter thing, right?
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, people post stuff all day long, and it's not just about these episodes. There's other extraneous things.
Right, because we're members of the community versus top down where we just state stuff. And
you're saying nobody can get at us. They can't censor us.
Of course. Anybody can censor anybody.
Now, so on Tuesday, what are we doing on Tuesday? That's what I'm more concerned about.
All right. Tuesday is the second half of LBJ. Speaking of dots, those are major, major historical dots that had serious significance. So we're going to finish up on this. Now, all of LBJ is going to wind up being God knows how many episodes, but this is going to be the second half of the killing of JFK.
Right.
This is the aftermath. We did the lead up, and I really encourage everyone to check it out. By the way, I just uploaded on Locals this morning too. So if you want to watch it commercial free on Locals, I have uploaded all America's Untold Stories on there ad free. So that's another benefit for Locals is you can watch shows ad free, and I put them up there with everything in them because sometimes we have to remove little bits that we put on the end and stuff due to copyright claims. I find the original that we did and I stick that on Locals. So you get the full benefit.
That's cool. That's cool.
Of them with that. So I definitely encourage you. $5 a month. It's not bad, guys. And you're getting things that aren't anywhere else. I'll be putting the gun up there and
You're putting the gun up there. What about the swag, Eric, down below there? That hat is great. That America's Untold, the baseball hat. I like that one.
Yep, we got merch. We got hats. There's camper cups.
What do they do? They could share the videos too. They could pass them on to the next person.
I really wish everyone would. I mean, first off, you don't have to pay for anything. You can just subscribe. It's free. There's a red button down below. Thank you very much. Don't have to pay a thing. Liking it, obviously that's free. Every like helps us out, helps the algorithm, pushes it. Any comment you make below, negative or positive, doesn't matter. And that all encourages things. But most of all, please share. Please tell a friend.
Okay.
We're trying to grow the show, and we keep getting suppressed. We get demonetized. Then YouTube doesn't push it out in the algorithm. And if you guys don't tell, other people can't find it. And it makes it really tough.
Fight the power.
That's right. Fight the power. Mark needs a nap. And we're going to call it a good evening. Look out for next Tuesday and the aftermath of JFK from LBJ.
Right on.